Okay. Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown. I'm here to talk about Final Fantasy 13. Or should I say, that meme years ago when Final Fantasy 13 was being hyped, Final Fantasy X. I, I, I. It's like, wait a minute, did I add an extra I? Oh, bro, that shit's hilarious. That clip from IGN years ago. Oh, I forgot to pay the robot sex machine again. Oh yeah, and I'm going to tell that little ass. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you deserve a fucking Final Fantasy 13 cookie. That's how old you are, alright? Damn, blow, that's a dad up, play. I agree, man. I should have listened to you. That bitch is fine, but crazy. I remember when I first saw that clip, I'm like, no, I want this to be Final Fantasy 13. Can we get that, please? You know, always what we got with Final Fantasy 13. Here's my experience with Final Fantasy 13. I played Final Fantasy 1 and 2, and I played a little bit of the side Final Fantasy games, but I wasn't, not the side, but like main ones and a little bit of side ones. Let me be more specific with that. And eventually I got Crisis Core, and I beat through that. Then I went to Final Fantasy 13. And you can see why I wasn't a big fan of Snow when he goes like, heroes never died after I just played a game when a hero fucking died. And Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7. You can understand how I felt when I heard that from Snow. I'm all like, fuck you. You know? I remember when I first played this game, I started hating Snow like crazy. And then I saw Hope, I understand how he was, but then he got a little bit of annoying, and I'm like, oh, just shut the fuck up, Over time and over the years, I got soft to these characters a little bit. I mean, I still hate Snow. Can you punch him and get lightning? Thank you. Now have my babies. No? Oh, shit. Lightning? I don't get the hate for lightning. Seriously. And I really don't get the hate for the data log. Most people be like, oh, but if it's there, it should have been in the main story in the main game. Well, these guys are running away. They have a time limit. Which is kind of funny because they put you in Grand Pulse, expecting you to take time with it. But when I first got into Grand Pulse, I'm over here like, but don't I have a time limit? Because of the tattoo that I have? Just fuck, I'm going straight. I did that. When I first went to Grand Pulse, I went straight to continue the story. That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. Seriously. Hold on, I'm sorry about this, guys. Hold on. Let me, come on. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about that. That was a bad idea. But, hey, I learned from my mistakes. And, I really never finished Grand Pulse. Like, the side stuff. There's so many stuff in that shit. That I tried to do all the missions, and I couldn't do it. Some of them are probably from post-game and all that stuff, but I somehow just couldn't do it. Maybe in the future I will do it, but I would love to have a remaster for this game. That's why I mentioned Final Fantasy 13. I want Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. I've bought all those games day one. I beat 13. I beat 13 too, but I never beaten Lightning Returns. Really, because why? Because of this. No, it's not the gameplay. No, it's not the story. It's not that. To be honest, I don't mind about this. I don't mind with the story. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but they make them so wooden, and since they took all the emotions out, now they don't have an excuse to put emotions on the characters. Go ahead if you say that, but you mean to tell me that ending that I saw on the internet of how the ended Lightning Returns, you mean to tell me that wasn't emotional? Oh, but they just got their emotions back after they beat Benavelza, which, by the way, Benavelza looks fucking scary and bad. Benavelza is fucking awesome. Alright? Benavelza is awesome. He is. Love the soundtrack that they put when you're fighting him. Again, I never beaten this game, but I've seen clips of this game. And the way it ended and everything like that. So going back, the reason I haven't beat Lightning Returns is because in the game, they put you in the second or third district for you to start out. And you're supposed to start out in the first district, which is at the desert. And the way you level up in this game is literally talking to people after you're done with the mission, and then they give you a whole bunch of stuff. You see, when I first thought about that, when that first happened to me in the game, I was like, oh, okay. What the fuck? I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of it at all. I just want a simple leveling up system. I was like there with Final Fantasy 13. Not to say I don't hate the area and all that. Not to say I don't hate that shit. Right? Not to say I don't hate that shit. I'm sorry. I barely have any fucking, what is it? I'm sorry with my phone and I need to get a new phone and I need to get a new SIM card for my phone. Well, not memory card, a new memory card for my phone. But that's just not in my codes right now. That's just not in the fucking goddamn, that's not in the cards right now for me, right? Seriously, I'm trying to get a new phone too, but that shit's expensive. All I want to get is an $80 phone and all these phones want to be fucking $100 and up. Nah, I'm good. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Sorry. I'm going, I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that. Ignoring fucking guy, fucking, I can't even make a fucking YouTube video without someone coming in the house because of this fucking goddamn dog. Seriously. It's no one else's fault. It's a fucking pet's fault. Seriously. I mean, I don't own the fucking goddamn thing. That ain't my fucking mind. Anyways, moving on. This is why you kill dogs in Final Fantasy. Have you noticed that? Even Final Fantasy 13. You see a robot dog or a futuristic dog and you're over here like, oh, they look cool. I'm going to touch it. Oh, crikey. Look at the size of that. I'm going to touch it. If you know that, you deserve an H.G. Bailey cookie. If you know what it's from, if you know what he said that from that Let's Play. Right, seriously. And it is a Final Fantasy game. I'll give you that, but I won't tell you what Final Fantasy game it is. Right, so I've been watching a lot of H.C. Bailey stuff. Maybe because I'm a big fan of his Let's Play videos. He's about to Let's Play Dragon Warrior 7, which is Dragon Quest 7. Yes. I've been wanting him to do a Let's Play of Dragon Quest, any type of Dragon Quest for a long time. I want him to do Dragon Quest 11S in Dragon Quest 8, but that hasn't happened. He's doing Dragon Quest 7, and maybe he will get to Dragon Quest 8, basically. Because those games are good. Like, seriously, those games are freaking good. Seriously. But going back to Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 has always had a special place in my heart. The soundtrack for these games is amazing. It's amazing. And if I ever played Lightning Returns again, I would know where to start. Because they start you in a place that you're not... I do not know why they did that. I don't know why they let you start out in a freaking... basically a suburb neighborhood or a town, but they don't put you in a place that you need to go to level up. They want you to go there and figure it out yourself. And I get that. That's fine. I don't mind that. Figuring out yourself and all that stuff, that's fine. But usually games put a number 1, a number 2, number 3, and 4, and 5, sections where you should go first and all that stuff. And I think they do that. Again, I haven't played this game in a long time, since the PS3 era. So... if I'm wrong about that, well, then there's the comment section below. Go ahead and rip me to shreds and be like, you fucking idiot, it was there. You didn't pay attention, didn't you? No, I just haven't played the game in fucking forever, since I was a teenager, since I was 18 or 17 years old or something like that, I played Lightning and I was afraid that the time thing would go off and then we'll have to start over again. And I'm like, forget it, I don't care. Because at that point, I was like, forget it. That's why I haven't played Majora's, I have played Majora's Mask, but I haven't beaten a lot of, Legend of Zelda games. The only Legend of Zelda game I have beaten, actually I haven't beaten none of Legend of Zelda games, but I played a lot of them, but I haven't beaten none of them. That's always happened to me with Legend of Zelda. Have you ever gotten into a series, and then you got the games, but you never beat them, any of them, and you're over here like, why'd I got into this series if I can't even beat one fucking goddamn game? The very first Legend of Zelda game I ever played was Diminish Cap. Love that game to death. I really do. And still to this day I haven't fucking beat it. I got that shit on Game Boy Advance back in the day when I was small. And I still today haven't beaten it. I have gotten far in it in 1 year. I think when I was like, in my 20s. And then I just stopped. Like, what was I, like 28 or 29? And I just stopped because I was like, oh, okay, that's how you figure it out and all that. Okay, cool. All right, fine. And then I paused it and all that and moved on with my life because I'm like, oh, I definitely would get far in it now, You know how we are sometimes as gamers. Sometimes we'll be like, oh, I've made it far this time. More farther than I was when I was a kid. Okay, cool. Pause it, come back later, had a cup of coffee, do the other shit, and you're like, oh shit, I haven't went back to this, huh? I still haven't went back to Dragon Quest 7. That's how long. I had the 3DS version, but I paused it, gave myself a break, and I haven't went back since. I think we've all been through that. We play another game, and then we beat it, and then we play another game that we haven't finished, but then we go move on to play another game so we can beat that before we go back to the other one, you know? It happens, it happens, it happens. But again, I've beaten more games than I can count, but I've also haven't beaten games that I can count too, so there's that. But moving on to Final Fantasy 13 again, this game, I love the characters, except for Hope and Snow. But then I'm more lenient to them now, obviously, but I'm not a huge fan of their characters. Seriously. Thane is hot as shit. Alright? You mean to tell me Thane and Vanille are not lesbians? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and tell me they're not lesbians while I'm drinking this. Originally, Thane was going to be a boy. Then there was too much men in the group, so they changed her into a girl. I think there's concept art of her being a guy. Then they just change her into a fucking female. Or a Fonte Poo. Who knows? Who knew? The world may never know, except for Vanille. Other people are like, lucky. And then other people will be like, fuck, Thane is tapping that? Oh, man. I love how back in the day, when people saw Snow and Sarah, they were all here like, you're not gonna marry her. She's 12 years old. You're 35. Jail. Oh. But Snow's like what? 21, and Sarah's like not 18. Snow is the same age as Lightning. She's 21 as well. Zaz doesn't even look his age, but hey, it just goes to show, you know, black don't crack, you know. He's a great character, Zaz. I love Zaz. I always loved him to death. It is hilarious that people have pointed out, be like, oh, give the color guy, give the Afro guy a gun. Yeah, that's kind of racist. And I'm over here like, yeah, but if they give him a knife too, it'd be even racist too. So, which one? You can't win with this conversation. You just can't win. You know, even if you have an Afro main character and you're gonna give him a gun or a knife, it just, you know, I mean, at that point, you don't just make him a wizard. Oh, why is he a wizard? Huh? It's like, damn it, now you definitely can't win with these people. Oh, man, it's like, what the fuck, man? But moving on, I do like he's trying to get his son. That's very relatable, especially today, more than ever before, you know. I think Zaz, when we do get a remaster, because I just saw a video not that long ago that there was a leak of last year, 2024, that yes, Rockstar, Square Enix is remastering Final Fantasy 13, but it's like, okay, it even said, hey, to be announced early 2025, and I'm over here like, okay, we're in early 2025, the third month. Are you going to wait until August? That's not the beginning of 2025, you idiot. The beginning of 2025 is from January to March. And some people put April around there, but then that's how as far as they go. Me, I go to March. I don't go to April, because once you hit April, you're already almost done with the whole fucking goddamn year. I'm dead serious. Seriously, I know it's the 4th month out of the whole year, but what, we're going to wait till the 5th month? For what? Then you're going to wait for the 6th month? What? Again, we're already halfway done at that point. Then we have 6 more months until after the year is done. Nah, Square. Nah. Now, if you do this in April, okay, I give it a pass. But if you do it in June, in the 6th, when we have 6 more months out, that's not early. That's not early. You could have just said in the middle of 2025. And I would have not complained about you saying early 2025, you know? So what Square Enix is doing Final Fantasy 13, there's shit that I've been hearing too that I'm not liking, that, hey, why not a remake of Final Fantasy 13? And I'm over here like, guys, just stop. You already have something that's right there. Just add a few stuff, all bells and whistles, and we're fine. I'm already happy with the game trilogy that you gave us already. Yes, I might have flaws and all that stuff, but overall, I liked from Final Fantasy 13 to Lightning Returns. You don't have to change anything. The only thing that you need to change is that the paradigm shift in the first game. Everything else, I have no complaints about in the second game or the third game, to be quite honest with you. Well, I mean, the map could be better in my opinion. That's just me. I think the map could be way better in 13. Lightning Returns 13. That's just me. But, But in the original Final Fantasy 13, give us the paradigm shift right away. That way we can, like in Final Fantasy 10, when you remastered it, you gave us the opportunity to go to the grid right away and pick whatever we want as a job class. You know? But you still had the decision if you wanted to play it normally the way the game came out, which I still like. You know, you should do that with a Final Fantasy 13 remastered, in my opinion. You know, 13 trilogy remastered. You know, that's just me. I love the game ever since I was a kid. For crying out loud, I remember seeing that trailer to Final Fantasy 13 and PlayStation Home. If you remember PlayStation Home, I remember seeing that shit a whole bunch of times in PlayStation Home because I was obsessed with this game. I was obsessed with this game. You know, it was the new modern Final Fantasy. You had the sexy pink hair waifu in the cover. Hell yeah, I'm getting this game. Hell yeah, you know, and it has, and I love the turn-based RPG in this game. A lot of people talk shit about it when it first came out, and I don't get it. I never got it to this day. And people still to this day think that, oh, you can only do auto battle and that's it. No, there's an option. If you go to the options, if you're a fucking smart person and check the options, you don't have to play the game in auto battle. You can literally play the game regular, as a regular all turn-based RPG. Shocker. And the thing is, too, everyone complains that you controlling your character and then dying and then it's game over. Dragon Quest IV did that. Yes, they changed it in the remake, but the original Dragon Quest IV, guess what? You can only literally control your own main character, and you had to tell the other party members to what to do in the battle in Dragon Quest IV. Yes, the original Dragon Quest IV. And it's kind of funny that when they remade Dragon Quest IV on the DS, you can still do that because the combinations that they kept, the command system that they redid was so good. I love the command system that they have now in Dragon Quest. You know, obviously I liked it before, but it's better now. It's better in Dragon Quest XI now than what it was back then. But not to say it wasn't terrible and all that. It was stupid. No, it was still good. What we have in Dragon Quest XI is just more of an update, more better, basically, and more refined, basically, like the DS versions. Because the DS versions, what they did with the command system, the DS versions of these games of Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6. Oh my goodness, are you serious? You can literally, this game has an option for you to be like, hey, I know you level grinding too much, but hey, you can put an option of these characters just fighting, and you're just sitting back, press the attack button, and they go. That's awesome. I don't know why they didn't implement that in Final Fantasy. Still to this day, I do not know why they haven't implemented that. Why don't you take the command system that you see in Dragon Quest and put that in a Final Fantasy game? Because when I see the command system from Dragon Quest and the things that you could do in those commands in Dragon Quest, I'm over here like, then what's the point? There's no going back. There's no going back. Yes, that's the Dragon Quest thing to do, and that's it. But I don't know why Final Fantasy doesn't look at that and be like, we want to do that. That shit's fire. That shit's great. Imagine the command system of Dragon Quest, you know, from the DS and 11, basically, and putting it to a Final Fantasy game that's like that has the battle mechanics of freaking Final Fantasy 10. Oh, goodness gracious. Hello. Seriously, man, that's fucking badass and awesome. I would play that shit. You know? And I know a lot of people get upset with this should be open world and all that. I'm saying this right now, Final Fantasy 15 was not open world. It was not. If it was open world, you get to move your car wherever you wanted when it was flying. But it wasn't. You were literally on a grid when you were flying. So that told me, when I saw that from that game, that told me that I was literally in a fucking amusement park. Taking me a ride. But how about this, guys? Have you ever thought about a hub world Final Fantasy mainline game? Like, there's a main Final Fantasy game, but it's a hub world, but you still could have all those bells and whistles what you see in a Final Fantasy game. And then you select a mission of what you need to do next inside the story. You know? That's what I would do. That's what I did in my game. You know, in the main game, you don't go straight to the castle. You talk to your cat to start for you to go straight to the castle because it's a hub ward. You know, and in the beginning, you were able to go inside the castle, but then but there was no option for you to. There was an option for you to leave, yes, but you had an option to not do that and just kept going to the castle and going to the castle, and by the end, it was like 5 or 6 hours, which is still not bad, but at the same time, when I was playing through it, I'm more like, there's not a sense of you going back to the main place that you started in the game and grab your items and grab your equipment and buy some equipment and then leave. So I had to change it. I had to change it to be literally like a hub ward, and it works. It works pretty well. So I don't know why Square does not do that. And the thing is, the Grand Post place, when there's a whole area that you can explore. Still to this day, I have told myself when I first played that game too, when I went to that chapter 11, I believe, right? When I first went there, I literally told myself, Square, we could have just started the game here. And everyone that complained that everyone that complained about this being linear, would not talk shit about it. They would have just thought that those are just dungeons. Linear dungeons, but still dungeons nonetheless. You know? That's just me. You know? Because once I went to Grand Pulse, I'm like, oh, so all the shit that we went through are just dungeons, and this is the open world hub. It's still a hub. It's a big hub, but it's not as big as like you see other Final Fantasy games, which is fine because what we got at Grand Pulse, I loved it. I love exploring through it. I like fighting the monsters and shit like that. And I love doing the side activities in that. See, that's how you do side activities right, in my opinion. Seriously. You don't do what you did in Final Fantasy freaking 16. Just saying. Final Fantasy 15, it was in the right direction, but it wasn't the way Final Fantasy 13 did it, basically. But I was still, hey, you could go back to the old places that you visit and talk to people and all that. If they did that by the end of the game, I think a lot of people would have eased their way, being like, oh, okay, I get it. You want us to go fast because we have a time limit, but then you gave this big open world at the end. Then once we do that, we beat the game, then come back and there's more stuff to do. And now we can relax, get more character development from the characters and more development from the world and side characters that are not really characters, they're just NPCs, but you still want to know them. You still want to talk to them, you know? So I think Final Fantasy 13 needs not a grand overhaul, but some things, that need to be changed and moved around to make the experience more better, for Final Fantasy 13. But again, like what Final Fantasy 13 2 did and Lightning Returns did were fine compared to what everything else. I know a lot of people don't like the mission-based stuff, and I'm not a big fan of that either. Again, I'm more of a fan as I got it over the whole hub world type stuff. You have a big giant hub that you can explore anytime you want. There might be some mini games or stuff that you can get money from. And then go to a place that you could just literally start the story anytime you want. Like Lego Batman, basically. How badass that would be if we had like a Lego Batman version of Final Fantasy. Oh yes. Yes, I'll pay that shit. The first Lego Batman game. Not the second one or the third one. I'm talking about the first Lego Batman game. Just saying. I mean, you could say the Lego Batman 2, but if you talk about the 3DS version, I'm going to look at you like, no! The 3DS version of Lego Batman 2 sucks! Seriously. It sucks. It sucks. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So, again, I think Final Fantasy 13 is really, really fun. I love the gameplay for all three of the games. Have no complaints about them, in my opinion. It's just, I just wish that the gameplay for Final Fantasy 13 opened more before Chapter 9. There's 13 chapters in the game, by the way, guys. So once you went to Chapter 9, you were like, wait a minute, there's 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 4 more chapters left compared to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 8 chapters. Then when you go to 9, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 more chapters left. You could have added a few more. Or, better yet, just add a freaking, get the paradigm shift early. Once you have all the characters, okay, I can understand the beginning, But once you go to the second stage where everything becomes all crystally ice and all that, then give us the paradigms right away, you know? Because we already got the magic and everything like that, you know? I can understand the beginning of the game when you start out and stuff like that. But once you hit that second level, the ice level that I like to call, you know, when you have to fight that freaking scorpion robot again, basically, that is how you should open the paradigms right there if you are doing a remaster of this game, which you are, Square. I know you all. I know you all. But don't do a remake like you did in Final Fantasy 13. I mean, don't do a remake like you did in Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7. Please don't. Seriously. Seriously, because people that have... I want you guys to take the stuff that people complain about and don't do it anymore. But yet you don't listen to those complaints and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And the one thing I always disregard with Square, you have a perfectly good gameplay. You know? And you can adapt from it and evolve from it. You don't do that. Let's change a new gameplay style. You haven't expanded on these other gameplay styles that could be fresh and new and different or stuff. And I get it. You don't want to be handcuffed. You like to have fresh ideas and put things out there. That's why I wasn't really complaining of you changing a lot with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Guys, you got to understand these developers. They don't want to make the same game again. That's why Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth turned out the way it was. The developers might be like, yeah, we did it. But in the fans' eyes, we're like, no, this is not what we asked it, bro. We did not ask this. And if you would have told us, man, if you would have told us straight up saying that, hey, we'll have to change everything because we don't want to make the same game again, then all of us would have told you, hey, then don't remake this game. Make another Final Fantasy game then. You know? But they couldn't help themselves. They couldn't fucking help themselves. Every time, man, this company cannot help themselves. Every time they have a chance to fuck over the consumer or the hardcore players, they will do it. They will do it. Don't say that they don't. Yes, they would. They're like WWE. I made a whole video of comparing Square and WWE. They're literally the same. You know? They're literally all the same. So, that's just me. With Final Fantasy 13, the whole series, the graphics still hold up still to this day. Square did an amazing job with those graphics. They still look good. Even on PS3, they still look good. You know? The fact that this game was going to be PS2, and he made it change to the point that it looks good on the PS3. Because if you ever wanted to know what Lightning looks like on the PS2, play the Dissidia games on the PSP. Whatever she looks like in that game, that's what she was going to look like in the in the PS2 version. So, and what we saw graphic-wise in the PlayStation 3 version, the standalone graphics, not the cutscene graphics, those were going to be the standalone graphics in PS2 Final Fantasy 13. You know? So when they just grab that and put it for PS3, and they still had to change it because the engine that's the thing. A lot of these studios want to make their own engine because they don't want to pay for an engine that they don't understand or would take forever to know, which I can understand that. But at the same time, guys, if you already have an engine there that's already good and working, then why not just use it instead of making your own? And then it won't have glitches or fumbles and all that. And you will hear like, we have to work on this. We have to work on this platform for fucking forever just to make something good. We have to learn all its flaws and all its weaknesses, but all its good comments with it. That's why I'm over here like, guys, you can't make a new gaming system. I mean, not gaming system, but you can't make a new gaming engine. You can try. Square Enix has tried, and some of the times they succeeded, but other times they have failed. You know why? Because they just, I don't know, it's just they look at their engines that they have, and they acting like they can't redefine it or anything like that. The thing is, when they do make an engine, they don't even know how the engine works. You know? So what's worse? Creating an engine from the ground up, not knowing how it works, or getting an engine that's already pre-made and you figuring out how to work it? Because you're making your own engine is wasting more money when there's already engines out there that you can grab and pull from it. You know? And learn from it. And I understand some of these gaming engines are expensive, and that's why you want to make your own. But to me, you were wasting even more money just by making your own if there's already one there for you to fucking goddamn use. You know? You know how, I bet you anything, you know how crazy it is to make your own gaming engine? You know how stressful that shit is? That sounds stressful. That's why we have all these other gaming engines. And yes, not to say some gaming engines cannot be good if some studios make it. But sometimes some studios fail on it because they don't know what they'll fucking have. Some of these engines can't do shit for them. And they wonder, and they over here still using it. And I'm over here like, supposedly the reason the way Final Fantasy 13 turned out is because the engine that they used. They didn't use the engine from Final Fantasy 10, I believe. Even though it's kind of like the same thing, a hallway, sorry. Oh, Final Fantasy X is not a hallway. It still has this big open areas. Yeah, same thing in my game. But there's no difference. You're still walking through a dungeon. Sorry. That's why I never got to complain with the linear hallways with these Final Fantasy 13. Not all dungeons are like this. Yes, I understand that. But if you look at any other dungeon previously or nowadays, you'd be like, it's not like I've never seen this before, you know? But if Final Fantasy 13, no, when Final Fantasy 13 gets a remaster, and it will, it's going to look beautiful, it's going to look awesome, and I'm going to buy it. It should not be $100 though. There's rumors that it's going to be $50 each for each collection. Are you high? No, I'm not doing that. And they're all together, like, that makes no sense. Now, most people are like, well, what if it's $50 each, and then the bundle is just like, what, $70? Still at the same time, no, because these games are old. They came out during the PS3 era. So put them at least $40 or $30. You know? Together. Not each, together. For kind of like the freaking remaster of Final Fantasy X and X-2, right now it's only like, what, 27 and $26? That's a steal. It's a steal. That's a steal. And I wouldn't mind if Square made the Final Fantasy trilogy remaster for $40. I wouldn't mind that. The highest I will go is $40. 50, I'm over here like, what are you doing? 60, I'm over here like, this is not a new game. Fuck off. You know? 70 is like, you're stupid. 80 is like, you're high. 90 is like, I'm not buying this. $100 is like, oh, you're insane. I'm definitely not buying it, basically. You know? I don't know why some of these gamers don't act this way. Some of these gamers are like, $100? Oh, yeah, I'm sucking its dick. Oh, hold on, let me bend down so I can take that loot from him. Yeah, $100. You know? So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Tell me what you guys think with Final Fantasy 13, the whole series and trilogy. What would you like to see in a remastered trilogy, basically? I still think that, hey, since in Final Fantasy 13 too, you had like your own little monster character, I was suspecting with that, with Lightning Returns, kind of like what you see in Dream Drop Distance, you know, like almost like you have a charity with you, because sometimes it feels lonely just to be Lightning. You know, maybe Lightning is lonely. Yeah. Hey, sorry. What if Lightning's lonely? Seriously. I mean, she probably is very, very lonely when that whole time travel thing happened. She had to become a freaking goddess of death. And no one's not hanging out with her. Oh, but what about Hope? Hope doesn't deserve that pussy. Alright, a man. I'd rather have Odin be with Lightning than Hope be with Lightning. How about that? I don't care how old he is. I don't give a fuck if you grab him from the future in Final Fantasy X-3. You know what I mean? X-3, imagine. Which people want, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. 13 too. If I talk about Final Fantasy X-3, I'm sorry, it's going to be depressing. Because Square is literally saying, you want X-3? Here's your remaster of 10 and 10-2. Oh, wait. Here's the thing hyping you up to 10-3. Oh, you thought we were going to give you 10-3, huh? Yeah, these characters have broken up, and now they hate each other. Now we're going to give you that Final Fantasy 10-3, aren't we? You know, like, I remember me and my friend looking at that video. I mean, looking at that clip when we're playing Final Fantasy X. I'm over here like, me and him looked at each other like, these guys are trying their hardest just to say your Final Fantasy X-3 is out the window because we made sure of it. That's what I'm saying, guys. Such a disrespect. You better not do that with Final Fantasy 13. I'm not saying we should get a 13-4. I'm not saying that. But if you trying to bring this series back just for a remaster, and all of a sudden you look at us by the end and you're like, here's your fucking remaster, enjoy it, then I'm gonna look at you as like, you what's wrong with gaming, and you wonder why I'm not buying you modern shit. I hope you don't act like that, Sqawn. Seriously, the fact that I found that out that you acted like that with Final Fantasy X and 10-2 remaster, just to be like, yeah, just to be like, fuck you to the Final Fantasy X community and the fans, I don't blame them how pissed they are. I was pissed. And I'm not even a huge Final Fantasy X fan. Seriously. I'm more of a Final Fantasy fan of Final Fantasy 2 and 1, but, you know, a lot of people don't like those games. Well, too fucking bad. I like those games. I like Final Fantasy 2. Alright? Oh, but you hit yourself all the time. No, you were told that and you did it. Then you said it was shit. Idiot. You do know you can play regularly, right? As a regular turn-based RPG? And you do realize that having multiple characters to do here is fucking retarded. You're putting more work on yourself. Idiot. Idiots. Why are you going to have multiple white mages and then complain about the game? Oh, this game sucks because I keep dying a lot. You're using a white mage. White mages are fucking shit when they're good and white mages are shit, man. They're not shit, but some white mages, if they can't hit with a hammer or a physical thing, then they're useless. The only thing they can do is heal you. That's why I love in Final Fantasy 1, you can give a mage a hammer. I never got the staffs. I'm sorry. I'm a hammer type of person. Hammer time. I'm a hammer type of guy that gives the white mage. That's why in my game, I gave my white mage not a staff because fuck staffs. I gave them a freaking hammer. Even when I played Final Fantasy 1 on the Game Boy Advance and the NES, I still gave my mage a hammer because that shit's badass. A mage that can heal you but still freaking knock you out with a hammer? Yes! I would love to have a healer that be like, fuck you, but also heal their opponents when they can. I like that shit. I love that shit. But yet, Square looked at that and they were like, nah. The thing is, mages die fast, which has always been a thing, and that's fine. But their magic is so fucking great and so powerful. You know? So that's why I really don't get sometimes when Square does this sometimes. But moving on. Hey, will they ever will they ever add another paradigm shift? Ooh. What if they did? What will it be? You know? What will it be if we had another paradigm shift for Final Fantasy 13? What will it be? You know? What will it be? I'm curious. And they did use the same gameplay system in a Final Fantasy mobile game. I forgot what's it called, but the soundtrack to that game is awesome. It is awesome. And people have said that every time you got intrigued with the characters, the chapter was over and they went to the next character and you're like, come on. I was getting invested to the characters already. Now you just left off to invest to another character, basically. I forgot what that game is called. I know it's a Final Fantasy mobile game, but that game should be remastered. I think there's a sequel to it too. But that game looks beautiful. I think that mobile game looks beautiful. And I'm over here like, why Square hasn't port that to the Switch and all that? Because that Final Fantasy game reminds me of a traditional Final Fantasy game. Not because it's turn-based, but it's playing old school to Final Fantasy 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 6 and 7. You know? Even 9, from 1 to 9, they were paying homage to that shit. Even though they got the 13 combat, which is kind of funny. It's 8-bit, by the way. An 8-bit Final Fantasy game that takes the combat from 13 and puts it in it. I was intrigued when I saw that shit. I'm like, oh, okay. You know? Which is I'm so surprised because they've remastered Final Fantasy 5 and 6 on mobile, and people hate the way the gameplay looks like there. Me, I really don't care. It looks nice and fancy to me. Like, do something new sometimes and I get it. But if they took that gameplay style from that mobile Final Fantasy game that I was talking about and they put it for those mobile games, I guarantee you people would be like, wow, this is really good. This is really fun. You know? That's just me. But what was that Final Fantasy game? Hold on. Because it is a mobile game. So maybe I should maybe I should buy it one day. Because I've been waiting for years for Square to release that. Seriously. Final Fantasy mobile. Not Final Fantasy Mobile, which is kind of funny because Final Fantasy Mobile, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, one of the Final Fantasy Mobile games does the whole Lasith thing again. Yeah. And they brought Chaos back, and Chaos looks like a Lasith. That is literally part of Final Fantasy 13's lore. I'm dead serious. It is. Like, this game right here is part of the Final Fantasy 13 lore. It is. You cannot convince me otherwise. That one is. If you've ever seen clips of it, and I've tried to play it before, but my phone, every version of a phone I have can never play these games. Seriously. How my phone could barely freaking handle Kingdom Hearts X key. Seriously. So, what's that one Final Fantasy game? Okay, let's see. They're not even showing the fucking goddamn. I had played Brave a little bit, but not as much as people have. It's not bad. I would like to see that as a port one day. Mobius Final Fantasy 15. That is the one that is basically another Final Fantasy 13 game. And you know what? If you add that to Final Fantasy 13 with the remaster, I will play that shit. You know, I will play that shit. Here it is. Final Fantasy Dimensions. I hope I'm saying that right. Final Fantasy Dimensions. This game needs to come out on any type of platform because this game came out in 2010 and it's stuck on the mobile. You have good Final Fantasy games on the mobile, Square, and you're not putting them on any other fucking gaming console. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get it. You will have the Pixel remasters on mobile, but not Final Fantasy Dominions on the mobile? I don't get it. I've been wanting to play that game for fucking forever ever since I saw this one. I've been wanting to play this shit fucking forever ever since I fucking heard about this game. Seriously. Then there's a sequel of it. This is what the cover looks. You know? Obviously the main hero here and the main bad guy here. This is an awesome fucking cover. Then there's the second cover for this. That's an awesome cover too. Yo, Square, if you're watching this, I want those games. I want to play them on the Switch. I want to play them on my PlayStation. I want to play them anywhere I can. I don't want to play them on my freaking phone that can waste battery every time I press the app. Are you serious, man? No, I'm tired of this shit. We need to put our foot down with this shit, man. I'm not gonna fucking download a game that every time I click in, like any other app, it just wastes my megabytes. Why? That makes no fucking sense. You mean to tell me every time I go to YouTube, it takes another megabyte, another one. Most people are like, yeah, it's been like that forever. But why is it like that? It should never been like that. Then why have a phone and have all these apps. Might as well get rid of all the apps that's on your phone, including the ones that come with the phone. Or it could damage your phone. Man, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Should not be here. It's wasting my megabytes. You know? Every phone should come empty with no apps or anything like that. And then it's up to you to fucking download them. And no, every time I go to an app, it should not take another freaking memory out of my memory card. That makes no fucking sense, man. That's like going back to your that's like playing a PlayStation, and every time you turn that on, guess what? Another terabyte is gone. Every time you turn it on. That's stupid as hell. And Sony or any other gaming company thinks about that, guess what? We're not buying a fucking gaming console. It's the same thing with these streaming services. Stop acting like you're a phone app. You're not. You're not. One of the reasons why I stopped having Paramount Plus because of that shit. So don't do that to Final Fantasy. Don't do that to any other Final Fantasy game. You know, I love this series to death. I love Final Fantasy 13, and I am looking forward for that remaster when it comes out. Seriously. You know, don't be like, oh, let's remake it. Don't do that shit. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I don't get this company, man. If you're acting this way, Square, then you know what? Don't remake it. That's the thing. Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth have failed so hard for these guys that even Final Fantasy 16 have failed so much with these guys that I bet you anyone in Square is like, well, what's next for Final Fantasy? It is, what's next? What's next for Final Fantasy? What's Final Fantasy 17 going to look like? You know? And are you scared, Square, to release a remaster of Final Fantasy 13? That makes no sense. You know? If you just release your Pixel remasters, even though they're $80 fucking dollars. I know you went over and redid all Pixar and all that. That is appreciated. Yes, it is. It's appreciated. But the whole collection should not be $80. These games come out in the 90s and 80s, you son of a bitch. These games should be at least fucking 30 or 40 bucks, motherfucker. Seriously, I said the same thing with Super Mario RPG, but everyone's just like, oh no, it deserves it, because everyone thought Nintendo would Nintendify if they remastered it or remade it. All I hear is this. That's all I hear. Dick riding, sucking. That's all I hear. That's all I hear. That's all I hear. You can disagree with me all you want, but I'm never agreeing with you and your fucking opinion with that shit. Well, I'm never going to agree with you with it. Then good. Okay then. Good. Fuck off. I don't care. Your opinion is not going to bother me. So, if it bothers you with it, then maybe you should look at your own fucking life. You know? I'm not trying to have everyone agree with me or disagree here. I'm just here to put my thoughts and my opinions about this series that I freaking love so much. You know? So Final Fantasy 13 deserves to get a remastered, all of them, 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. You know, I don't know why Square is taking so long. You know, now if you give us the Dragon Quest XI S treatment with Final Fantasy 13, Square, I will fucking kiss your ass forever. I won't say shit to you for 12 years. I am dead serious. If you give me that from Final Fantasy 13 Remastered, I'm not saying you would do it, but if you did do it, you would never hear me talking shit about this company ever again on this channel for 12 years. I am dead fucking serious. Look at me right now. I will make a fucking paper and write that shit down, and I'll sign it and I'll show you all of that. Because I'll put that on my wall and looking at that contract every day until the 12 years are up. I would fucking do that shit. And you guys know I would do that shit. I'm crazy enough to do that shit. And some of you guys are like, oh yeah, he would do that. He would. Please don't do it. I love your opinions on Square and Final Fantasy. I know. Now I have to wait 12 years for this shit? To give you an opinion on something that sucks? Forget it. I'm watching someone else. Can't blame you, you know. But I'll see you guys later. Be safe and tell me what you guys think about Final Fantasy 13, the game, and what would you like to see in it, you know? And what will you not like to see Square fuck up? I think that's the most thing that we can agree on. What do you not want Square to fuck up with this remastered trilogy of Final Fantasy 13?